real cases before a real judge.
Plaintiffs Paul Dorian and his wife Linda owned a pizzeria, and they hired the defendant to work for them. Paul claims the defendant started showing up late, and when they fired her, she damaged their property. They're suing for the balance due on a loan. Defendant Lisa Crane says working for Linda was a nightmare because she was always standing over her shoulder and did not uphold proper sanitary conditions in the pizzeria. Lisa claims she was wrongfully terminated, and she's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you all.
Sure. Well, Your Honor, my wife Linda and I owned a pizzeria in town, and around mid-July last summer, Ms. Crane came looking for a job, and Ms. Crane started out really great. Come around September timeframe, things started going downhill. Ms. Crane would constantly be late. She would have words with both of us when we would approach her with orders that she was messing up. There was one time when Lisa was working and she was the one making change, and I went at the end of the night and it was, $15, $20 late, and I approached her about it and she said, well, I don't know what happened to the money. It got to a point where my wife or our manager would have to call her about a half hour before her shift was to start to make sure that she was going to show up on time. So one time when my wife called her and said, hey, you're supposed to be in at 11, Lisa said, I don't care about my crappy job, I'll be in at 5. Okay, so things just really deteriorated.
Okay,
And the schedule had been previously up for 2 weeks. So
let me allow her to give some background.
Well, the money incident, I've never taken anything from their business ever.
Were you short? Did they ever mention to you that you were short
There
on
was
money?
a time that Paul did mention that was accurate, but I wasn't the only one in the drawer, and I wasn't the only employee there. Okay. So,
okay. What do you say it was like working with them?
Oh, it was the worst. It was mostly Linda that was the worst person to work with.
What was she doing?
She just would stand over your shoulder. She would, the sanitation, there's bugs in the flour.
I'm sorry, Lisa, that
There's
is
bugs
not...
in the flour.
Ma'am, I asked about your working experience, but you described things that you probably didn't report while you were there. Now, did you?
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, and what was the result? They were ticketed?
No, they weren't.
They were cleared then. It's either one or the other.
I got a paper back saying...
Oh, let's see the paper.
Okay.
Defendant Lisa Crane worked with the plaintiffs, and they claim after they fired her, Lisa damaged their property.
Office of the Attorney General. Work for? Okay. Read to me where it says anything about the sanitation. You're gonna read? You're gonna be able to read to me something about the sanitation you called them about?
It doesn't say anything about
I know
sanitation.
it doesn't. That's talking about you and unemployment and how you were denied unemployment in order to pay them back because they believe you defrauded them. That's what that's about.
Okay.
That's the Attorney General of that state threatening to lock you up. And I don't know why you would give me that. She said she was handing me some papers that said that you all were being investigated for unsanitary conditions, and indeed those papers said she was being investigated for unemployment fraud. How does she owe you?
So when Lisa first started with us, like I said, she was really doing well. And we came to learn that she was living out of her car and she was trying to move into...
Your Honor, that's not true.
Okay, go ahead.
She was trying to move into a trailer in the next town over. So I lent her $1,000 in the middle of August.
When was she to repay it?
Well, the deal was that I would take $25, $50 a week out of her check until, she had paid up.
Okay.
Okay? And come the end of October, it was October 30th, my son and I were at home. Lisa was supposed to be at work. I had called my wife because I knew that, we were busy. And she said, no, Lisa hadn't come in yet. So about a half hour later, I said to Sam, come on, we better go down the shop, see what's going on. And when Sam and I arrived at the shop, Lisa still wasn't there. And there were some deliveries to take. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll go take the deliveries. I went out on the deliveries. When I came back from the delivery, I noticed Lisa's car in the parking lot. And I said, oh, Lisa's here. When I got out of my car, both my son Sam and Linda came running out saying that, yep, Lisa had showed up, but Linda had said, you know what, we're done. I'm going to have to let you go. We can't take this anymore. And at that point, Lisa flipped out, for no better terms, started ripping work schedules off the wall, taking time cards. She ripped our vendor lists off the wall, and she proceeded to run out the back. My wife said, you can't take that, this is our property. And she said, I'm leaving anyhow. And she ran out the back, ran into her car, and she took off.
Your Honor?
I came in.
Let her finish.
Okay.
Let her tell me.
Your Honor, the reason why I was late that day, it was declared a natural disaster. It was a snowstorm on October 30th. I have proof of it. The mayor requested, yes. And I do have that, Your Honor.
All right, and we'll see. Last time you said you had something.
No, I have this one, Your Honor.
You handed me something that caused you to...
The reason why, Your Honor, that caused me to be that way is because they paid me half cash and half check, and I didn't. That's what happened. They were frauding the system, not me.
This is from the President of these United States. On January 6th, Lisa was caught in a major disaster. Am I right or wrong? Doesn't the President say this about you?
No, he doesn't say that about me, but he says it of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and we all
Yeah,
had
disregard you.
Okay, but it doesn't specifically say my name. I didn't know.
But you were included in this.
Okay.
That's your defense.
Okay.
And you can't get any more credible than the President. Sir? Ma'am?
Defendant Lisa Crane worked with the plaintiffs, and they claim after they fired her, Lisa damaged their property.
All right.
Okay.
What do you want to tell me about ripping up their walls and all the other things?
Well, when I proceeded to go in, I was an hour and a half late. What happened was I went to proceed to clock in. Linda asked me what I was doing. Obviously, I was clocking in, and she told me, no, I'm not, and she used profanity with me when she fired me. So I do admit, Your Honor, I did use profanity back. I felt that it was a wrongful termination, you know. And so I took the schedule, and I went to go leave out the door, and Linda was standing right there, and she was hovering over me like this, and and she was putting her hands on me, trying to like tackle me for the papers. I had to shove them down my pants, run out the back door, trample through the snow, jump in the thing, jumped over a wall, had to run behind the other store that was located, and after that I didn't hear anything, and I just wanted to make photocopies of it, and I was going to return the papers, and...
All right. Now let's get back to the loan.
So I met with her, and I wrote up a promissory note.
Oh, good.
That she agreed to pay.
And obviously she hadn't paid anything on it.
As you can read there, I gave her 8 months to pay us back the $675. So months
expired
No,
yet.
it has not.
Months went by, and we didn't hear anything from Lisa.
Ma'am, is there a balance?
Yes, there is a balance.
$675?
Well, yes. There is, but I still had time to pay it, to be paid in the next 8 months.
They are suing you, I'm sure, under a theory called anticipatory breach of contract. They anticipate you're going to breach and not pay them. Now, whether they win or not is up to the judge. Your counterclaim is for $649 for emotional distress. How do they owe you?
I just felt that after they fired me, you know, it was October 30th. Then, you know, Christmas is right around the corner. I have 2 children. I'm a single mother. I had no way to pay rent. I had no way to go to school.
They should pay you $649 because of the problems you endured after you were fired?
After I wasn't intending to get fired that day because I was late. I mean, it was...
Most people don't intend to get fired.
It's like you...
It just kind of happens.
There was nobody could even drive that day. It was...
All right.
There was poles. There was everything in my road. I had
So
no
you
running
suing them
water.
for that? That's your emotional distress is because of the snow?
I fell behind on my rent afterwards.
But what
my
have they
my
done to
school.
you to cause you to sue them for your rent and all the things? They have a right to fire you, don't they?
Yes, they had a right to.
Then how are you suing them just because of the aftermath of being fired?
Okay.
I'm going to have to dismiss your claim. They had every right to fire you. Good luck to you. Judgment for the plaintiffs. Have a good day.